In CELPIP Speaking, you have 30 to 60 seconds for preparation. The clock is ticking down and turning red. You are staring at a picture of a crowded park, and your mind is completely blank. You know the English words, but your brain has just frozen. That is why most people find it impossible to hit a level 9 in CELPIP Speaking. It is largely because your thinking collapses under the time pressure. I've been there. I recently scored a level 12, but before I did, I struggled with the exact same mental freeze problem. In this video, I'm going to give you the master key, a single 3-step system that works for all 8 tasks. By the end of this, you won't have to think about what to say next. You just say it. I'm Carson, and this is the C9CC high score system for CELPIP Speaking tasks 1 to 8. So before you touch any specific task, you need one foundation. Every CELPIP Speaking response follows the same 3-step structure. It is very simple, nothing fancy. An opening, a body, and a closing. The simple 3-step structure never changes. What does change is what each of these steps is responsible for, and that depends on the task and the sentence patterns attached to that task. Once the structure and sentences are fixed, your thinking stays calm, even when the clock is running. Now, let's apply this system, task by task. Task 1. Giving advice. In this task, Emma is moving and worried about being lonely. Our mission is to offer practical tips while sounding like a supportive friend. To do this, we use our 3-step structure. We first acknowledge her situation in the opening, provide 2 to 3 suggestions in the body, and wrap up with a warm closing. Look at the patterns on the screen. These are the fixed sentences we'll use. Now, watch how I plug Emma's specific problem into these patterns. Since this will be the first demo, I want to give you some peace of mind with a quick reality check. This response is polished and pre-planned to show you as many high-level techniques as possible in a short time, meaning you shouldn't think you need to perform exactly as I do in CELPIP to get a high mark, because in the real CELPIP exam, perfection is not our goal. I personally stumbled during my test and still walked away with a level 12. Think of this demonstration not as the kind of performance you need to replicate, but simply as how the 3-step structure is applied to a real task. I would say, even if you only use 70% of these patterns, you are well on your way to a level 9, 10 or higher performance. I'm over-delivering here so that you have plenty of options to choose from. Hope that gives you enough peace of mind. Now, let's go ahead with our first demonstration. Hi Emma, I was so excited to hear about your new job and the big move. I can certainly understand why you might feel a bit anxious about making friends in a brand new city, but I have a few suggestions that should help you navigate this transition. One thing you might want to consider is being proactive with your new colleagues at the office. If you manage to invite a co-worker for a quick coffee or lunch during your first week, not only will it help you feel more comfortable in your professional environment, but it will also allow you to tap into their existing social network, which is a significant advantage in a new city. Another approach that worked well for me in the past was looking into local hobby groups or sports clubs. By taking the initiative to join a weekly running club or a pottery class, you will likely find that you meet people with similar interests. If that doesn't appeal to you, you could also try exploring the community events in your new neighborhood. This is particularly effective because it allows you to meet neighbors in a relaxed setting. Anyway, those are just a few ideas to get you started. I'm absolutely confident that once you put yourself out there, you're going to build a great circle of friends. I hope these tips are useful as you prepare for the next chapter. Good luck with everything. Here is the full script and the focused sentence patterns highlighted for you. Notice how much of the response is already covered by our ready-made sentences. That's exactly how the structure is going to protect your thinking, even under time and exam pressure. If you want, screen capture it. Task 2. talking about a past experience. In this task, we are talking about trying a new food. Your mission isn't just to list the ingredients, it is to tell a story about that food. You need to show the examiner you can navigate the past tense fluently. Our three-step system handles the narratives. First, the opening signals the memory, the body describes the sensory details, and the closing reflects on the meaning. Pay close attention to the past tense markers in this response. This is where the high marks are hidden. Now, watch how I turn a simple meal into a good response using our structure. Here is the demonstration. One of the most memorable culinary experiences I have had was when I tried authentic Thai green curry back in my early 20s. It took place at a small, family-run restaurant in Hong Kong. And I remember it clearly because it was my first real introduction to Southeast Asian cuisine. As the meal got underway, I was immediately struck by the vibrant green color and the aromatic blend of lemongrass and coconut milk. What made this experience particularly unique was the guidance of my friend, who grew up in Bangkok. She explained the different ingredients to me and also taught me how to properly pair the curry with the jasmine rice. Looking back, I would say it was a memorable adventure that taught me the importance of being open-minded with food. And I would definitely love to do something similar again in the future. The structure kept the story moving without getting stuck on what happened next. Screen capture these sentence patterns if you want to use them for your own task too as well. Task 3. Describing a scene. In this task, we are looking at a busy cafe. Your mission is to act as the listener's eyes. You must be organized so that the listener, who will be your rater, doesn't get lost in the picture. The structure here is all about the spatial organization. We want to use the opening to set the general scene, the body to move from the foreground to the background, and with use of some clear spatial markers. And then the closing, we need to use it to capture the overall atmosphere once again. Notice how I guide the eyes through the room. Let's see how our fixed sentence patterns help us map out the busy image. And here is the demo. This image depicts a lively cafe setting on what looks like a very busy day. The first thing that captures my eye is the cafe counter, where two staff members in red aprons are busy serving customers. To the left of the corner, I can see a woman in a blue and yellow dress holding a bowl of soup for a small child, while right next to them, an elderly woman is standing with a walker. In the center of the room, a man in gray suit is receiving a drink from the barista, and a young man in a green shirt is pointing toward the back of the cafe. Moving to the background, there are two women sitting at a high table near a window, chatting over coffee. It seems to me that they are really close friends, as both of them look quite excited. Overall, the scene is very energetic, and everyone seems to be enjoying their time at the cafe. The spatial connectors, like to the left of the corner, moving to the background, gave my brain a path to follow, and that is the power of the structure that we are using here. Task 4. Making predictions. Looking at this picture, what do you think will happen next? So task 4 is using the exact same picture from task 3, but the mission changes. This time, we are looking into the future. You need to speculate what is going to happen next based on what you see now. This is actually a test of your modal verbs that includes words like might, likely, and probably. The structure is quite simple. Our opening signals a shift to the future. The body uses cause and effect logic to explain why things will happen the way we predict, and the closing wraps up everything once again. Here is a high-level demonstration. Looking at the current activity in the frame, it appears that several developments are likely to occur in very near future. One of the first things we might see is the barista behind the counter serving the customer in a grey suit. Since the barista is already handing over a cup, it is highly probable that the customer will take his drink and move toward one of the empty stools to sit down. Furthermore, the woman in the blue dress will likely finish receiving her bowl of soup. It seems logical to assume that she needs to find a place to eat, which means she's about to walk toward to the sitting area while carefully managing the child and the stroller beside her. In the meantime, I believe that the female staff will continue to clean the table surface until she finishes all. Overall, as the clock ticks forward, I expect the entire scene to become even more crowded as more people enter from the street. From the demonstration just now, you may notice how I didn't just describe what would possibly happen next. I sometimes link my predictions with some simple observations and reasons too. And you can do the same as well. Let's move on. In task 5, you need to choose between a music camp and a track and field camp. You need to persuade someone why your choice is better. There are two possible ways doing it. Explain why your choice is good, and second, explain why the alternative choice is not as good. Remember, we should not say that the alternative is a stupidly bad idea. We need to say just that it is not as good. For the 3-step structure, our opening states a clear choice. The body uses direct comparison and practical value to weigh the pros and cons a little, and then the closing focuses on the benefits to the listener. We aren't just reading facts, we are winning an argument here. In the demo, I'm going to choose the music camp. Here's the demo. Hi Sarah, I've had a chance to look at both the music camp and the track and field camp, and I strongly feel that we should go with the music camp for your daughter's break. Even though the music camp is a flat fee of $150, it offers a full 10-day curriculum, including basic music symbols and rhythm, which is far more beneficial than track and field camp's daily rate. While the track option is flexible, it sounds quite impractical for her to do the same track and field activities for the full 2-week holiday. In comparison, music camp includes actual lessons for guitar, flute, and piano, which means we won't have to worry about your daughter becoming bored on one or two of the instruments. I also think music camp aligns much better with her interest in creative expression. Since she really enjoys learning new things, she would get much more out of these experiences than she would at a track meet. Ultimately, the music camp offers much better value. Let me know if you agree. So, from the demo just now, you should notice the key here was the even though structure. It shows the examiner you can handle comparison confidently. Screen capture it if you want. Task 6. Dealing with a difficult situation. A customer wants a refund without a receipt. Your colleague Mike is refusing. You sold the item yesterday and recognize the customer. Talk to Mike. Now, things get a little trickier. You have to handle a conflict. Your mission is to remain firm and professional without sounding aggressive or rude to your teammates or to the customer. So the secret here in task 6 is the validation and suggestion move. Our opening stays polite. The body validates Mike's perspective before offering a fair exception, and then the closing invites cooperation. We want to be a problem solver here. I'm going to talk to Mike in the demonstration. No matter which side you choose, these patterns still work. Hey Mike, do you have a quick second? I overheard the conversation you were having with that customer regarding the coffee maker return. I know he doesn't have his receipt, and I completely understand that you're just trying to follow our standard store policy. However, I actually wanted to step in because I personally sold him that exact coffee maker just yesterday. Since I can verify the purchase myself, I think it would be fair to make an exception in this particular case and provide him with the full refund he's asking for. He's starting to get quite upset, and I hate for a loyal customer to leave unhappy over a technicality that we can easily verify. What do you think about processing the return this one time, since I was the one who handled the transaction? I'm happy to sign off on any paperwork needed to clear it with the manager later. By using the phrases like "I completely understand," you lower the tension, and that is exactly what a high-level expression right there should do. Task 7. Expressing an opinion. Do you think remote work should be a permanent option? Explain your reasons. Task 7 requires you to give an opinion on a social issue. Your mission is to provide a logical, well-supported argument that sounds natural. Our opening declares your position. Immediately, the body provides two strong, distinct arguments, like personal well-being and organizational growth, and the closing reinforces your stance. Remember, 2 deep, well-explained points will always outscore 5 shallow ones. This time, I'm going to advocate for remote work. Watch how I use the 3-step structure to show the examiner that I can handle a debate. Here is the demo. In my opinion, offering remote work as a permanent option is a highly progressive and beneficial move for both employers and employees. While some argue that physical presence is necessary for collaboration, I believe the advantages of flexibility far outweigh the drawbacks. First of all, a permanent remote option significantly improves employees' well-being and productivity. By eliminating the daily commute, workers save hours of time and reduce their stress levels, which allows them to dedicate more energy to their actual tasks. In addition, remote work provides a better work-life balance as well, as individuals can tailor their environments to suit their personal needs, leading to higher job satisfaction. Furthermore, from an organizational perspective, permanent remote work allows businesses to access a global talent pool. Companies are no longer restricted to hiring people within a specific geographic radius, which means they can recruit the most qualified candidates regardless of where they live. This diversity of talent can lead to more innovation and a stronger competitive edge in the market. In conclusion, because of the clear benefits to mental health and the ability to attract top-tier talent, I strongly advocate for remote work as a permanent fixture in the modern professional landscape. Can you notice that in the demo, I used a lot of transition words, including first of all, furthermore, and in conclusion. These are the signposts that keep the examiner from getting lost in your logic. Task 8. Describing an unusual situation. You are at a park and you see teenagers launching massive glowing lanterns against a mountain backdrop at sunset. Call your friend Benny and describe the scene. Finally, we are on task 8. You are on the phone describing something strange. Your mission is to build a mental picture so vivid that your friend can see it without being there. Because the image is quite unusual, you may have difficulty of picking the right word, and it makes your structure even more important. In this case, the opening sets the phone's context. The body builds visual details using specific adjectives, and then the closing completes the side mission, which in this case is inviting Benny to join. Focus on the unusual details that make the scene unique. Here is the final demo. Hi, Benny. You won't believe what I'm looking at right now. I'm at a park and there's a very unusual scene unfolding. Right in the middle of the area, there are 4 teenagers who are preparing to launch large, colorful lanterns. 2 of them are holding up a massive glowing purple bag, while another is kneeling on the grass to operate a small heating device. They are using these tools to inflate the lanterns, which looks quite impressive. The whole scene is set against a mountain range in the distance, and because it is right at sunset, the deep red and orange colors of the sky make everything look very dramatic. It is such a strange and creative sight that I thought you might want to join in. What do you think? Should I try to ask them how you can participate? And that's task 8. I use words like massive, glowing, and dramatic to give the description flavor. And that's the 3-step structure together with vivid description in action. So there you have it. 1 structure, 8 tasks, and clear blueprints for achieving a level 9, 10, or even higher CELPIP speaking result. If you found my video helpful, I have linked my complete CELPIP strategy PDF in the description below. It breaks down exactly how the scoring works and gives you even more plug-and-play patterns to use on exam day. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this with anyone else fighting for a level 9 or above in CELPIP. I'm Carson from C9CC. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.